My name is Yuki Nakamura, and I'm the chief medical interpreter at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. I speak 47 languages fluently: Japanese, Mandarin, Cantonese, Korean, Vietnamese, Thai, Tagalog, Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, Arabic, Hebrew, Russian, Polish, Romanian, Albanian, Greek, Turkish, Farsi, Pashto, Somali, Swahili, Amharic, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, German, Dutch, Haitian Creole, and 16 others. I interpret for patients who don't speak English, translating between doctors and patients during consultations, procedures, emergencies, end-of-life discussions. I've been a medical interpreter for 18 years, the last 12 as chief at Mount Sinai. I've interpreted over 30,000 medical encounters. I understand medical terminology in every language I speak. I'm a linguistic bridge between doctors and patients who couldn't otherwise communicate. On November 3rd, 2023, I began experiencing the collective memories of every patient who died speaking each language. When I speak Spanish, I don't just translate, I experience the overlapping memories of all 847 Spanish-speaking patients who died at Mount Sinai while I was interpreting. When I speak Mandarin, I carry the deaths of 623 Chinese patients. When I speak Arabic, I relive 412 deaths. 47 languages, 12,000 deaths. All of them speaking through me now, every time I open my mouth to interpret, except one language, Korean. I have one language left that's still clean, still silent, still mine alone. Because I've only had one Korean-speaking patient at Mount Sinai, and she's still alive. If she dies, I'll lose Korean too. And I'll have no language left that isn't haunted by the dead. Mount Sinai Hospital is one of the largest and most diverse hospitals in New York City. We serve patients from every country, every culture, every language. Manhattan's immigrant communities, refugees, international patients, visitors from around the world. On any given day, we need interpretation in 30 to 40 different languages. I'm 41 years old, born in Tokyo. Moved to New York at age 7 when my father transferred for work. Grew up bilingual Japanese-English. Discovered I had a gift for languages in high school. Picked up Spanish from friends, Mandarin from Saturday school, French from class. Studied linguistics at Columbia, learned a new language every semester. By graduation, I spoke 20 languages. By 30, 40. By 40, 47. Being chief medical interpreter means I oversee a team of 20 interpreters, manage hospital language access protocols, handle the most complex cases personally, and serve as the linguistic expert for the entire medical center. Lives depend on accurate interpretation. A mistranslation can mean misdiagnosis, wrong treatment, death. November 3rd, 2023, was a Friday. I was interpreting for a Spanish-speaking patient in the ICU. Maria Gutierrez, 76, end-stage heart failure, decisions about life support. The doctor spoke. Mrs. Gutierrez, your heart is very weak. The machines are keeping you alive, but you're not getting better. We need to discuss what you want us to do. I began translating to Spanish. Señora Gutierrez, su corazón está muy débil. And I heard them. Not Maria. The others. Hundreds of other voices, speaking Spanish, overlapping, simultaneous. All of them patients I'd interpreted for over 18 years. All of them dead. Pedro, 84, died 2019, stroke. Tell her the machines hurt. Tell her to let go. Carmen, 52, died 2021, cancer. Tell her she'll see her husband again. Tell her it's peaceful. Miguel, 67, died 2023, 3 months ago. COVID. Tell her to fight. Tell her not to give up like I did. Hundreds more. All speaking at once. All in Spanish. All wanting me to deliver their messages to Maria. I stopped mid-sentence, gasping. Ms. Nakamura? The doctor asked. Are you okay? Yes. Give me a moment. I tried again. Señora Gutierrez, su corazón. The voices returned. Louder. More insistent. Every Spanish-speaking patient who had died at Mount Sinai while I was interpreting, all speaking through me, all trying to communicate through the language we shared. I finished the interpretation, shaking. Maria heard the doctor's words. But I heard 847 dead patients speaking Spanish, giving her advice, sharing their death experiences, using me as a conduit. When I left Maria's room, The Spanish voices stopped. Silence. But I knew they'd return the next time I spoke Spanish. Over the next week, it happened in every language. November 4th, Mandarin interpretation for Chinese patient with pneumonia. The moment I spoke Mandarin, I heard 623 dead Chinese patients. Their voices overlapping, sharing memories of their final days, their deaths, their regrets, their peace. November 5th, Arabic interpretation for Syrian refugee with shrapnel injuries. When I spoke Arabic, 412 dead Arabic-speaking patients spoke through me. Many refugees, many trauma deaths, many stories of war and loss and displacement. November 6th, Russian interpretation for elderly patient with dementia. 381 dead Russian-speaking patients, many elderly, many with similar cognitive decline, all trying to give advice to this new patient through me. Every language I spoke became a chorus of the dead. Patients I'd interpreted for over 18 years, who had died at Mount Sinai, whose final words I'd translated, whose deaths I'd witnessed. They were all still there, stored in the languages we'd shared, speaking through me every time I used their language. On November 10th, I tried to explain it to Dr. Sarah Kim, Mount Sinai's chief of medicine. Sarah, I need to discuss something unusual. When I interpret now, I'm experiencing memories, voices, from patients who died. They speak through me in each language. She looked concerned. Yuki, what do you mean they speak through you? When I speak Spanish, I hear 847 Spanish-speaking patients who died while I was their interpreter. When I speak Mandarin, 623 Chinese patients. Every language carries the collective voices of everyone who died speaking it. That's not linguistically possible. Languages don't carry memories of dead speakers. I know it's not possible, but I'm experiencing it. Every language is haunted by the patients who died using it. How many languages are affected? 46. Every language I've interpreted deaths in, which is every language except one. Which language is clean? Korean. I've only had one Korean-speaking patient at Mount Sinai. Park Min-seo, 68, admitted 2 weeks ago with liver disease. She's still alive. Korean is the only language I can speak without hearing the dead. Yuki, this sounds like a linguistic trauma, maybe dissociative symptoms from years of witnessing death in multiple languages. You've interpreted thousands of deaths. Your brain might be processing that cumulative grief through language. It's more than processing. They're actually speaking, giving advice, sharing memories, trying to communicate through me. I'm requiring you to take medical leave. Get evaluated. You can't interpret if you're experiencing auditory hallucinations in 46 languages. On November 15th, 2023, I was placed on mandatory leave. 18 years as a medical interpreter, 12 as chief, ended because I'd reported hearing dead patients in every language I spoke. But the voices didn't stop. At home, alone, every language I thought in carried the dead. I tried speaking Japanese to myself, my native language, and heard them. 278 Japanese-speaking patients who had died. My childhood language, contaminated by death. I tried English. 2,847 English-speaking patients. The most deaths of any language. English was a cacophony of the dead. Only Korean remained silent. My last clean language. On November 20th, I visited Park Min-seo in the hospital. Not as her interpreter. I was on leave, just as a visitor. She was the only living Korean-speaking patient I'd ever had at Mount Sinai. Miss Park, how are you feeling today? She smiled. Better. The new treatment is helping. Dr. Kim says I might go home next week. That's wonderful. We spoke Korean for 20 minutes. Clean, pure Korean. No voices, no memories, no dead patients speaking through me. Just language as it should be, communication between two living people. When I left, I realized, if Park Min-seo died, I would lose Korean. 47 languages, all haunted by the dead. No language left that was mine alone. On November 25th, I received a call. Park Min-seo had coded cardiac arrest. They were attempting resuscitation. I drove to the hospital, ran to her room. The medical team was doing CPR. Please, I whispered in Korean. Please don't die. You're my last clean language. Please stay alive. At 3:47 p.m., they got her back. Pulse returned. She stabilized. But I knew it was temporary. She was 68, liver failure, multiple organ systems failing. She would die eventually. And when she did, Korean would join the other 46 languages, haunted, contaminated, filled with voices of the dead. On December 1st, I met with a linguist at Columbia University, Professor Elizabeth Chun, expert in bilingualism and language cognition. Professor Chun, I'm experiencing something unusual with language. After 18 years as a medical interpreter witnessing thousands of deaths, I now hear the voices of deceased patients when I speak their languages. Describe the experience more specifically. When I speak Spanish, I simultaneously hear 847 Spanish-speaking patients who died while I was interpreting. They speak over each other, sharing memories, giving advice. The same happens in 46 languages. Only Korean is silent because I've only had one Korean patient and she's still alive. How do the voices manifest? As intrusive thoughts or actual auditory experiences? Actual auditory. I hear them speaking the language, sometimes hundreds of voices simultaneously, sometimes clear individual voices, always in the language I'm currently using. And this only started recently? November 3rd. After 18 years of interpretation, suddenly the dead patients were there in the languages we'd shared. Professor Chen was quiet. There's a concept in linguistics called embodied language, the idea that languages carry cultural memory, collective trauma, shared history. But what you're describing is more literal. You're experiencing language as a repository of individual deaths. Can you help me? I don't know. This isn't a linguistic phenomenon I've encountered. It's more spiritual, metaphysical, language as a conduit for the dead. On December 10th, I did something experimental. I tried learning a new language, one I'd never interpreted in, where no patients had died. I chose Icelandic. Small language, unlikely to be needed at Mount Sinai, no deaths associated with it in my experience. I spent 2 weeks learning basic Icelandic, and it was beautiful.
Clean, pure.
No voices, just words, grammar, meaning. For the first time in over a month, I could speak a language without hearing the dead. On December 24th, I received an emergency call from Mount Sinai. They had an Icelandic patient. Tourist heart attack, didn't speak English. They needed an interpreter. I was still on leave, but I was the only person in the hospital system who spoke Icelandic. I went in. The patient was Björn Gunnarsson, 54, severe myocardial infarction, critical condition. I interpreted between him and the cardiac team for 3 hours. Emergency catheterization, stent placement, ICU admission. At 11:47 p.m., Björn died. Cardiac arrest, couldn't be resuscitated. I spoke to his body in Icelandic. Fire Jeffu. Vi gerum allt sem vi gatum. I'm sorry. We did everything we could. And I heard him answer. Not out loud. In my head. In Icelandic. Björn's voice. Aka ar. Varst her me mer. Thank you. You were here with me. Icelandic was contaminated. One death. And the language was no longer mine alone. On January 2nd, 2024, I returned to Mount Sinai as chief medical interpreter. My first case was Spanish interpretation. I entered the room, began speaking. Señora Rodriguez, el Dr. Dice K. 847 voices, all the Spanish-speaking dead. But now I understood what was happening. They weren't haunting me. They were trusting me. I was the last person who spoke their language with them. I carried their final words, their final thoughts, their final moments. They were using me as a bridge, speaking through me to new patients facing similar deaths. Pedro, 84, died 2019 of stroke, spoke through me to an elderly stroke patient. Las Maquinas duelen, pero despedir snow. Tuve tres días para dejar adios a mis hijos. USA, ese tiempo. The machines hurt, but saying goodbye doesn't. I had 3 days to say goodbye to my children. Use that time. Carmen, 52, died 2021 of breast cancer, spoke to a young mother with cancer. Ludijami hija que la amaba cada dia de su vida. Oyala hubiera dikamas. Dila tu hija ahora no espers. I told my daughter I loved her every day of her life. I wish I'd said it more. Tell your daughter now, don't wait. Miguel, 67, died 2023 of COVID, spoke to current COVID patients. Luce, pero no lo sufficient. Estaba asustado del ventilador. No tengas miedo. Dijalos ayudar. Yo no lo hice mori. I fought, but not hard enough. I was scared of the ventilator. Don't be afraid. Let them help you. I didn't, and I died. Rosa, 73, died 2022 of heart failure, spoke to cardiac patients. Mis últimos pensamientos fueron de mi esposo. 45 años juntos. Muero sabiendo que fui amada. Eso es sufficient. My last thoughts were of my husband. 45 years together. I die knowing I was loved. That's enough. They were giving advice, sharing wisdom, offering comfort through me. I wasn't being haunted. I was being trusted as a linguistic medium for the dying. Over the next 3 months, I interpreted 400+ cases. Every language carried its dead, and I learned to work with them rather than fight them. When a Mandarin-speaking patient faced death, I let the 623 Chinese dead speak through me. Their collective wisdom about dying, about family, about peace. An elderly man dying of lung cancer, terrified. I spoke Mandarin. Sir, the doctor says your lungs. And the 623 dead spoke through me in chorus. Wang Li, 79, died 2020. Tell him not to fear the darkness. Chun Wei, 64, died 2022. I regret not spending more time with family. Tell him to call his daughter. Lu Mei, 88, died 2018. Death was easier than I thought. Tell him it's peaceful. I translated the doctor's words, but I also felt the weight of 623 Chinese perspectives on dying. Their experiences became part of my interpretation. The patient heard clinical information, but somehow also received comfort I couldn't explain. When an Arabic-speaking refugee needed comfort, I channeled the 412 Arabic dead who had survived war only to die here. They understood his fear. They offered solidarity. Syrian patient, 42, shrapnel wounds infected, sepsis spreading. I interpreted. Mr. Ahmed, the infection is spreading. 412 voices in Arabic. Fatima, 56, died 2021, Syrian refugee, cancer. He survived the war to die in peace. That's a gift. Hassan, 34, died 2019, Iraqi, trauma. Tell him dying here is better than dying there. At least he's safe. Layla, 67, died 2023, Palestinian, heart failure. He's not dying alone, we're with him. The Arabic-speaking dead understood displacement, war trauma, dying far from home in a foreign country. They spoke through me to comfort this new patient facing the same fears they'd faced. When a Russian grandmother was confused by dementia, the 381 Russian dead who'd experienced similar decline guided her through me. They knew her fear. They remembered their own confusion. Valentina, 84, late-stage Alzheimer's, frightened in the hospital. I spoke Russian. Valentina, you're in the hospital. 381 Russian voices, many elderly, many dementia deaths. Dmitry, 79, died 2017, Alzheimer's. Tell her forgetting isn't shameful. Natasha, 82, died 2020, vascular dementia. I was scared too, but the nurses were kind. Boris, 88, died 2021, advanced dementia. At the end, I only remembered love. Tell her that's enough. I became a conduit. 47 languages, 12,000 dead, all speaking through me to help the living face death. On March 15th, Park Min-seo returned to the hospital. Her liver had failed. She was dying. I went to her room, spoke Korean. For the last time, the language was still clean. Just her and me. Miss Park, I need to tell you something. You're the only Korean-speaking patient I've ever interpreted for at Mount Sinai. When you die, Korean will join my other 46 languages. I'll carry your voice forever. Every time I speak Korean to another patient, I'll hear you. She smiled weakly. Then make sure you say something helpful. Don't let my voice be useless. What do you want future Korean patients to know? Tell them dying is lonely in a foreign language. Tell them it's less lonely if someone speaks your language with you. Tell them you're grateful they're here, even if it's the end. Park Min-seo died at 4:23 p.m. on March 17, 2024. The next day, I interpreted for a Korean-speaking patient. Emergency surgery consent. I spoke Korean and heard her. Park Min-seo's voice, clear and strong. Hey, Don't be scared. The people here will take care of you. One voice in Korea now. Eventually there would be more. But for now, Park Min Seo was my Korean guide for the dying. I'm 41 years old. I'm the chief medical interpreter at Mount Sinai Hospital. I speak 47 languages. And in every language, I carry the voices of the dead. When I speak Spanish, 847 patients speak with me. When I speak Mandarin, 623. When I speak Arabic, 412. 47 languages, over 12,000 deaths, all of them using me as a linguistic bridge between the dead and the dying. I don't know why this happened. Why after 18 years, the dead suddenly became audible in the languages we shared. Why I'm a conduit for their voices. But I know my purpose now. I'm not just translating between doctors and patients. I'm translating between the dead and the dying. Every patient I interpret for who is facing death hears not just the doctor's words, but the collective wisdom of everyone who died before them in that language. The Spanish-speaking grandmother dying of cancer hears 847 Spanish dead telling her it's okay to let go. The Mandarin-speaking father in the ICU hears 623 Chinese dead telling him how they said goodbye to their families. The Arabic-speaking refugee hears 412 Arabic dead who understand displacement, trauma, dying far from home. I carry them all. 47 languages, 12,000 voices, all speaking through me every time I interpret. And every death I witness adds another voice to the chorus. Last week, I interpreted for a Tagalog-speaking patient who died. That's 189 Tagalog voices now. Yesterday, a Hindi-speaking patient. That's 264 Hindi voices. This morning, another Spanish death. That's 848 Spanish voices. The chorus grows. In every language, the dead accumulate, and I speak them all. I'm a medical interpreter who carries the voices of 12,000 dead patients in 47 languages. When I speak, they speak through me. When I interpret for the dying, the dead guide them through me. I'm a linguistic bridge between this world and whatever comes after. And I'll carry these voices until I die. Then maybe I'll join them, speaking through the next interpreter who takes my place, helping future patients in Japanese, in English, in Spanish. The dead don't leave. They just change languages. And I speak them all. Last month, I interpreted for a young Haitian woman dying of complications from childbirth. She was 28, her baby survived, but she was bleeding out. I spoke Haitian Creole. Dr. Dika? Dear, the doctor says. And I heard them. 134 Haitian Creole-speaking dead, many women, many maternal deaths, all speaking to her. Marie-Claire, 32, died 2020, postpartum hemorrhage. Pitit ou ap viv. Sa sa qui enpeden. Your child will live. That's what matters. Jean-Baptiste, 71, died 2018 stroke. Man mt muri kansa. Men ap viv. Pitit ou ap sun joyu. My mother died this way, but I lived. Your child will remember you. They guided her through her final hour, told her what to say to her husband, how to say goodbye to her newborn daughter through me. The collective wisdom of 134 Haitian deaths, all channeled through Haitian Creole, all speaking through me to comfort her. She died at 3:17 a.m., peaceful, surrounded by voices only I could hear, speaking her language, guiding her home. That's 135 Haitian Creole voices now. Yesterday, an elderly Polish man, 89, end-stage dementia, didn't recognize his children. I spoke Polish. Pani Kowalski, tuj zcsa tute. Mr. Kowalski, your children are here? 241 Polish voices, many elderly, many dementia. Janina, 86, died 2019, Alzheimer's. Pawids mu, znie muzi pamiatak ich torzi, abai pamiatak ich milosk. Tell him he doesn't need to remember their faces to remember their love. Stanislav, 91, died 2021, vascular dementia. Na konku pamidalum tilko siplo. To Wistarksi. At the end, I only remembered warmth. That's enough. He died 3 hours later, holding his daughter's hand, not knowing who she was, but feeling loved. The Polish dead spoke comfort through me until his final breath. That's 242 Polish voices now. This morning, A Vietnamese teenager, 16, leukemia, treatment failed. I spoke Vietnamese. Oi, BACSINOI rang. Dear child, the doctor says. 87 Vietnamese voices, but only 3 were teenagers who died young. Most were elderly, but those 3 teenagers spoke loudest. Lin, 14, died 2022, brain tumor. Noi voi ko I dung so, toi so. And hung koi kung ti kong dao. Tell her not to be scared. I was scared, but in the end, it didn't hurt. They understood her specific fear. Dying young, leaving parents behind, missing life. The 87 Vietnamese dead all spoke, but those 3 teenage voices guided her most clearly. She's still alive tonight, but I know I'll carry her voice soon. That will be 88 Vietnamese voices. The numbers grow. Every death adds a voice. Every language becomes more crowded with the dead. 47 languages. Over 12,000 voices now. And counting. I speak them all, carry them all, channel them all to help the living face what the dead have already experienced. I'm Yuki Nakamura, Chief Medical Interpreter, linguistic bridge between the living and the dead. When I die, I wonder which language I'll speak from the other side. Japanese, my native tongue? English, my adopted language? Or will I speak in all 47, joining each chorus, helping future patients in every language I ever interpreted? For now, I'm here, speaking for 12,000 dead in 47 languages. And every day, the chorus grows.